how do they come back from this loss, and how do you think they're going to handle it? Like you've been saying, they are currently the best team in the world, coming off some great results. Can you talk us through that a little bit?
Well, I mean, the last 3 tournaments, they've beaten NIP every time. Before that, they'd never beaten NIP. They beat NIP the last 3 series they played against them. They won EMS Fall. They won DreamHack Bucharest. No, they didn't. Let me think. I can't remember. They won 2 events, okay? And then they finished second at ESWC, but that was kind of an upset. And again, it's not like they were beaten by the best team in the world. So they're currently our number 1s, okay? I don't think necessarily that this throws them off entirely, because they know like not everyone turned up. It's not like we played our best and then we got beaten and like, oh, no, what do we do now? It's more like it's an annoyance, because the frustration now is, okay, we're still the best team, even if, say, we have to play Astana in the round of 8. Okay, that's annoying. That's harder than we wanted. We wanted maybe to play them in the semis instead, or maybe play them in the final. But listen, we came to this tournament prepared to beat NIP, prepared to beat Astana. If we have to, we will. It's more like now they just have to reset. I don't think necessarily they have to change anything up much. The other players, it looked to me like they just came up cold, okay? They weren't ready for this match. Complexity was firing. They were ready. They were hyped. This was the match for them. And remember, it still could have gone VeryGames' way. They could have come with not everything and still squeaked the victory. So I think VeryGames, there's no panic there. You just go, okay, we'll get the next one, especially against a weaker opponent. We'll win that, and then we'll just go forwards.
We're going to gear up for that next match now with VeryGames facing off against N-Faculty, possibly facing elimination. And we should have the lineup here up on the big screen. Yeah. Take us through that, please.
Okay, so actually I'll give you the context of the last match. So I said these are the 2 stars, and they're the guys who have to carry VeryGames if they're at their best. Scream didn't really show up in that match. I was watching it the whole time. I don't really know what was going on. His play was just off. He seemed a bit uncoordinated. Shoxy is playing great. He's in great form in general, and it's continued over to this tournament. Smith's had some decent moments, I thought. He reminded me a bit of Fliff Lauren yesterday. Even though he's a utility player, he was coming up big. NBK again. It's not that he didn't show up like Scream. He was very streaky in that match, and he didn't show up in the right rounds. Existence, I thought some of his calls on the retakes were a bit off. Like I wasn't quite sure that sometimes they waited too long, sometimes they were at the wrong site. Like, yeah, I feel like the reading of the game was off by Existence. So I think it's just like they all knew what their job was. Some of them just couldn't get into that mode in this game.
We're going to head on down to the tournament floor to hear NBK's thoughts.
There he is.
All right. How are you guys feeling after that loss to Complexity?
Losing to Complexity is, pretty disappointing in a way, because we just feel that we didn't play our best. We managed to grab some rounds, but we were losing the key rounds once again. In the end, it was 16-14. It was the closest score possible, but yeah, we felt like we can do way better. And not going to say it was a warming up game, but we should have done better.
All right, Sir Scoots here has a question for you.
You know, obviously, really well played game. You're at the top of your game. You know, you're always the team to beat at that point, right? The bullseye's on your back. Is it safe to say that maybe you didn't think about Complexity and how they play as much as they think about how you played, in the sense of like preparing for the match?
Well, we knew that they were preparing before the whole event pretty hard. We were looking for the games. We know that they're an excellent team no matter what, with players such as Nothing, Shangaris, and all of them in the team. We prepared against them, but they just surprised us with some tactics that were just clean, and they just won it pretty perfectly. There's not much to say. They had a very good game. We weren't at our best, and yeah, they won it. That's a really good game from them.
In the last round, they had this surprise tactic. Because they were on game point, they couldn't lose anyway. They could take a risk, Did you really only realize it was in A? Like, after the bomb had even been planted? No one could even hear anything? They couldn't hear any beeping? What happened?
Yeah, that was just a complete mess on our side. We had just probably a communication problem. Like, I asked 3 or 4 times whether the bomb was here or not. And I had a feeling that it was going to be on the other side, but I just stick to the team, and we all stood on that bomb side. That was obviously our wrong choice, and that was very well played by Complexity. Yeah, there's not much to say about that.
So going forwards, people are going to say, okay, you're still the best team in the world in theory right now. But so to win, you'd have probably had to beat Astana anyway. You probably have to beat NAP anyway. It's now possible, because of how the bracket's set up, that if Astana wins Group D, you have to play them as soon as the quarterfinals. What would you think about if you had to play Astana early? Would it be any problem for you?
Obviously, it's harder to play teams such as Astana, Dragons, or NIP, and all those very top teams. Because they're just specials in a way that they are practicing so much and you know each other so well. It's going to be obviously harder than playing against, I don't know, like Recursive on the other side of the bracket or any other team that was considered medium seed. But we came here to win against every single team. Astana is on the list. We are ready to face them, and if we manage to pass the group stages, we're definitely going to look forward for the game, either them or Copenhagen Wolves, and we are prepared for them anyway.
All right, thank you for your time and good luck in your upcoming match. All right, what do you think about the next map now for VeryGames? We're coming into Dust 2, moving on from Inferno. What do you think of their chances here before we go into the lineup for Faculty that we're going to get on the big screen?
Dust 2 is a great map for teams who are new and teams who want to upset someone. You can either just having a weird approach to it or just mixing it free-for-all style. It's always been historically the best map for upsets because of that reason. Problem is, VeryGames I think are too good. They've just got too much of everything. They can go the strategic route, they can outshoot you, they can just beat you with team play. I can't see how Faculty will win this game. Now, if it's close, then maybe Faculty were better than I thought. So I'm going to use this as a barometer of how good Faculty were. But I'm pretty sure VeryGames win this game. That was a slight hiccup in the last game, but from a team playing really, really good CS, I think it's Faculty is going to lose, and VeryGames is going to win.
All right, let's take a look at their lineup.
Okay, so we went through this before. A couple of these players, Glaive, Pimp, they were in Western Wolves. Pimp was actually most recently in Copenhagen Wolves. Carrigan, he was in Copenhagen Wolves recently as well. Before that, he was in Fnatic. And then he was in Fnatic before that also in 1.6 when they had a really nice run at the end. They dominated the last few tournaments. Carrigan's been one of the X factors for all his teams where everyone's been waiting for him to come back to the level of 1.6 and then he'll fulfill his role. And he's never actually been able to transition to it so far. So watch for him maybe in this game in that sense. These two players here are newer players. They've played for like okay teams around the Scandinavian scene, but they've never really like established themselves as good players. So I feel like they've got a lot to prove playing with these other players because the difference is Carrigan, Glaive, Pimp. If this doesn't work out, either they can get new players in or you'll see them in other teams. They'll get picked up or maybe a Copenhagen Wolves will say, maybe we try having Glaive in our team, you know. It's these players here where if they want to make it as pros, they have to make it in this team, you know.
All right, and we got Kerrigan standing by on the tournament floor. Hi, Kerrigan, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Thank you. What do you think about your chances against essentially the very best team in the world at the moment?
I mean, it's kind of surprised that Complexity won against VeryGames. That's no secret. I mean, based on the match I saw Complexity played really well, and we also played against Complexity on Inferno, so I think they played really well on Inferno, and I'm glad it's not Inferno against VeryGames, so I'm looking forward for the Dust 2 against VeryGames, but let's see how it goes and how the beginning is.
How do you feel that you guys came back from that defeat to Complexity when you faced Sapso here earlier on? Did you guys get in your groove again, or how did that match pan out for you? Because we didn't get to see it here on Stream 1.
The first match against Complexity was the first match for this line-out tournament and an important match. We made small minor mistakes, and in a group like this it's going to be penalized directly, and that's what happened against Complexity. Against Exapto, it's completely another story. I mean, we lost the pistol and gained the momentum directly back after winning one eco round. So if we have to have a chance against winning against VeryGames, we need to get the momentum very fast and very quick.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that. Are you nervous going in facing VeryGames, or do you sort of see this as your big opportunity to break through and establish yourself as one of the top teams in the world?
I think this match, we have no pressure at all. I mean, VeryGames is the top team at the moment. They're top contender with NIP for this DreamHack tournament, and they have to win. They have to win big. That's what in their mind. That's what the community says. So, I mean, we have a chance to prove ourselves in the community, and I mean, a close match will always be close, and in the end, it can be the minor mistakes one of the team makes and can decide who is going through to playoffs. So, I mean, we have no pressure at all, and I know VeryGames has to win.
I want to ask you a question about your own career, actually, because it took you a few years of battling to get to the top tier of 1.6, okay? Eventually you got there, you were in Mouse, you were in Fnatic, you had very good results, and you were being considered a top player now. In CSGO, you've bounced around a few teams now. You've been in Fnatic, you were in Copenhagen Wolves, now you're in this team. How would you evaluate how you've done in CSGO compared to when you were at your best in 1.6?
There's no secret in that. I can't really compare it to CS:GO and 1.6 for my career. I was really good individual in 1.6 in the old team Mousebots Fnatic. But the thing is, in CS:GO, I had so many different roles now in every different team. I played different languages, German, Swedish, Danish teams. I was tech leader for German, Swedish, and Danish teams. I've been the AWP for many teams also, and not been the main AWP. I mean, I'm trying to find myself in CS:GO, and I'm trying to find what makes me the best player in the different teams. But it's still hard to find myself within the game like I did in 1.6, but also took many years. I hope this tournament could be something that motivates me, and I really find myself in a good spot. And I win here will set a lot of things on fire in this team, and I think if we go through the playoff, we can do some damage. But first, we have to overcome VeryGames, of course.
All right, Kerrigan, thank you very much for being with us, and good luck in your match.
Thank you.
Okay, Scoots, we're almost ready to go into that match, which could possibly see VeryGames be eliminated from this huge, historic $250,000 tournament. Any last thoughts? What do you think about the game?
Again, VeryGames just has to put it behind them.
Move on.
They've lost before. They've won before. They're not freaking out. They just got to get the other guys around Shoxy to have a good game. And I think it's theirs to win. I'll definitely pick VeryGames to win this one for sure.
Thorin, really short, what will be the key for each team?
I think basically it's up to VeryGames. If VeryGames play the way they know, then they're going to win. I don't think the other team has so much to say to it. It's more about how will VeryGames play.
All right. So, in Faculty coming up against VeryGames on Dust 2. I'm going to send it over to our caster crew. Enjoy the match, everybody.
Hello and welcome back. Special thanks over there to those guys out there in the studio, kind of wrapping things up of what happened there throughout not only for the past games, but also what was going ahead and happening during the other games. So now, as we're just going to go ahead and start to get back into it, let's go ahead and talk about what's going to happen here for this VeryGames matchup. We expect VeryGames to play at their level, but in that matchup against Complexity, I mean, what were some of the things that you saw whenever we were going into that game?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I felt like Complexity matched up well against VeryGames, but I mean, I still wouldn't expect them to do what they did. VeryGames looked like they didn't have all of their 5 players producing results. I mean, they had Shox just playing out of this world as usual, but it seemed like everybody else sort of struggled. I mean, they started getting more into it towards the end of it, so odds are they're warmed up, more warmed up now for the second game, or third game rather.
The third game. Yep.
But I mean, they just need all their players to help out. Last game was all on Shox for the first half. I mean, no one else on VeryGames did anything in the first half, pretty much. Second half, they got a little help, but it just wasn't a team effort by the team that is usually considered most of the team. I mean, NIP is more reliant on skill.
Yeah, so one of the things that we noticed, though, watching throughout that game was some of the set strats that we were seeing from Complexity right out of the gates. I mean, anticipating and really kind of counter-stratting what VeryGames is known for. One of the things that I was talking with Sean Gares about was how he had all 5 players from Complexity at one point had nades in their hands. At any point against any other team that I know of, they're going to probably try to peek out on you, try to push out at certain time points. Even inside of the apartments, we had 2 players that were over there, and what blew my mind is that was just worked out perfectly for them as they were able to execute every single smoke and flash exactly where they wanted to and pushed right into the site. And that's just, again, kind of putting things into perspective of what happened there in that second half.
Yeah, these are actually 2 teams who play fairly similar styles in the sense that Glaive is a leader, a lot like Existence, where he likes to have everything pre-planned. Now, the problem for his team is they're a new team. They made a roster. This entire roster was created 2 weeks ago. It's not even like they made a roster change. This is a new roster that was created a couple weeks back. And you know, the way they like to play, the way Glaive likes his teams to play, they need a lot of routine. They need preparation. Yep. And I just don't think Faculty is quite there yet as a team. Whereas VeryGames, obviously, they have all the routine in the world.
Yeah, they've got all of their players. I mean, we remember whenever Scream was brought on board there for VeryGames and how effective he was right out of the gates, and then they brought Shoxy on board. And, of course, right now he's just been an absolute superstar here at DreamHack Winter. We watched those the past couple maps, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if MBK, Existence, and Smiths can actually start to step up to the level like you mentioned there in the second half, though. They started to play a little bit better, but one of the things that MBK had mentioned during that interview is that this communication wasn't there. He asked over and over and over again whether or not the bomb was actually planted inside of A or inside of B. He didn't rotate. He waited for his teams to make that call. And then, of course, once he made that rotation from the B side to the A, it was too late.
Yeah, but I mean that was sort of a fake that you really couldn't blame communication on.
Oh,
though.
that was
I mean,
great. It was
there was
well
pretty
executed.
much there was no way for VeryGames to know the bomb wasn't going to be planted there, unless they just made a judgment call earlier and just risked it. And then in that case, had the bomb been in the B side and CEO just been reluctant to plant because of VeryGames potentially running in and then not being able to cover the planter, that would have just ruined it even worse for VeryGames in that scenario. So, I mean, I think that's just one of those rounds that you're just not supposed to win. Like, it's just not going to work out for you. And it's not really your fault either. It's just the other team outplaying you.
Now it's a great game, so let's go ahead and hop into the final map here of this Group C. As we've got VeryGames and InFaculty, as it looks like we're waiting here for just a second. There is one of the players that needs to get back into the server. So again, InFaculty, in VeryGames, there's a chance, a slight chance, that we might see VeryGames go home. But like we've all kind of mentioned here, we anticipate VeryGames to play back at their type of level that we've seen from them in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the difference in the level of play in InFaculty and Complexity when they took on each other in the first match. I mean, Complexity were just miles better in that game. And, I mean, that should be an indication. I mean, you can't really judge teams in that sense, but InFaculty, like I said, they're just not there yet as a team. They're too new of a team, and their team play is too reliant on being prepared and having a lot of routine, whereas a team like LGB, I mean, they wouldn't need a lot of preparation. They might just come in here and play Puggy style and hit some headshots. But for a team of Glaves, I just don't see it working out that way.
All right, so it looks like we're going to be waiting for one quick restart to hop into this one. One of the players that we saw a lot of getting those entry kills from InFaculty was Cajun B, who was really kind of toying with Sean Gears there on Inferno over there towards the banana side. We'll look out for Kerrigan, see if he can step up his game. And this roster's actually pretty solid. We've seen them be effective, or at least a few of the individuals from this roster have been extremely effective there. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully they can actually come out and play here against a team like VeryGames.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, InFaculty definitely needs a good start. I think they're going to need both pistols to stay in this game. I mean, this is the kind of environment where VeryGames has always done well. They are actually a team that has lost quite a bit of group stage matches and then still went on to make the final unless they met NIP early on in the bracket, like happened in DreamHack Bucharest. That's where they lost in the group stage. They wound up, and actually it was NIP who lost in a group stage. But regardless, VeryGames has lost some games in group stage, and it always happens to the favorites. It's just not the same until all the pressure is there.
And it seems like we're going to go ahead and take a moment as the game will restart, and we'll see if we will go live here on DE Dust 2. I'm actually happy that we're not seeing DE Inferno again. We've seen that quite a bit there in group play so far. And we can see what's happened here in this the scores here for Group C. It's been fun to watch throughout already. I expected to see that matchup against VeryGames and Complexity, a high-level match, and I was actually been looking forward to it ever since I found out what the groups were going to be.
Yep. And we'll just hop right into the game here as the match finally gets underway.
And as mentioned, we will be here on DE Dust 2. Take a look here. Of course, you've got InFaculty who will be starting off on the counter-terrorist side. You're going to have VeryGames on the T side. And right out of the gates, they're going to start to try to see if they can get a pick there inside of mid. They had 3 members there from VeryGames just firing through those mid-double doors. And both Glaive and Kerrigan had taken a little bit of damage to that process, but really focused on what happened to NBK in existence. They're both low on health as well.
Yeah, it's some early damage there to start off the round for InFaculty. VeryGames still just feeling the Danes out, not really sure what to do. But it looks like they are going to be grouping up towards Catwalk, which is where the push might be coming in from, with NBK lurking around long A doors as usual.
And Cajun just on the other side waiting for them to start to push up there towards Catwalk. There hasn't been a call out in quite some time. You also have Shoxy, who's going to start to push up here inside of mid. He's actually grouped up with his teammates. Be on the lookout for Pimp, though. Pimp's going to be right there inside of CT spawn. He's got the P2K. They're going to go and smoke up inside of that CT spawn. They're going to start to push over there towards that B bomb site. Holding it down is going to be Kerrigan. He has his teammate right there that was with him. He's going to get taken out. Kerrigan picks up 3 so far. He's low on health, and now it's going to be left up to Shoxy. And Shoxy, again, we mentioned there in that matchup against Complexity, he was lights out. As now he's going to try to be able to stay alive here just a little bit longer. Takes down 1. Now it's going to be down to this 3-on-1. Not a lot of time to work with here. He's got 2 players that are over there inside of CT spawn, 1 inside of B. Chasing after the kill. He spots both of them. And Kerrigan, again, he started off this game extremely strong. And looks like now they will pick up that pistol round.
Yeah, good play by Kerrigan there, just single-handedly pretty much stopping VeryGames. And that's exactly what we said in Faculty need to have a chance in this game. They need some individual plays. They need the pistol rounds. So far, so good. VeryGames have gone for a buy, though, this round. So we'll see if they can convert this into a round win like they did against Complexity in the first half on the Inferno.
Complexity had mentioned they'd noticed numerous times that they would see the P250 setup here for the next round. Oh no, as Glaive takes down his own teammate, and as they're going to continue to push over there towards that long A side. P250s have taken out at least 3 members here from in faculties. Now it's going to be down to you've got Rails as well as Kerrigan going up against Shoxy, Smiths, and MBK. The bomb carrier trying to make that transition over to the A bomb site. And actually catches him as he tried to cross there. And that was Rails, who was over there inside of CT spawn. He was trying to loft the bomb over to MBK. And so now it's going to be left up to MBK down to this 1-on-2. They are waiting for the bomb plant to happen. Rails just in there inside of the CT spawn. Coming over the top, that's going to be Kerrigan. And so Kerrigan helps things out. And there you go, that's end faculty for you right there, taking the second round.
That they are, and that's a good start for in faculty. VeryGames are going to have to save now after purchasing everything they could in the previous round. That's going to make it 3-0 most likely for in faculty, and it's a very good start for the Danes. Now they just have to make sure they don't lose too many players in this upcoming or this current round to secure some money control going forward.
All right, so right now you've got Kerrigan, who's watching the backside of B. He's grouped up with his teammate. That's Rails, who's watching the B double doors inside of mid. You also have Pimp, who's going to be there inside of CT spawn. And, of course, you're going to see Glaive and Cajun B working long A with each other. It's probably going to be our default throughout the rest of this match on the CT side. Existence tosses out a flashbang. They're going to start to push over here towards that B bomb site. Rails able to pick up 1. Kerrigan picks up 2. And that's going to finish things off there.
It's
as
a flawless
again,
round for faculty, and that's exactly what they needed for money.
Exactly. So one of the things that we've talked about numerous times is whenever you go for the anti-eco is try to not lose any players. And so we see there that in faculty not only picks up the pistol round, but the 2 rounds to follow. They didn't even allow a chance for VeryGames to get the bomb planted.
Good play by in faculty so far. VeryGames still looking a little shaky, but it's too early into the match to really judge them too much. We'll see what happens this round. They really want to get on the board soon and just start getting those rounds, because Dust 2 is still a terrorist-heavy map, a terrorist-favored map.
Flash is coming over the top. You've got Cajun, who's going to be just on the other side, able to take down 1. He's got 2 players to worry about. Smith's going to be able to push up. Headshot there with the AK. And so now Pimp is going to have to hold down over here towards. He's completely blind, has no clue where he's at, and he will get taken out there by Smith as well. And now the 2 from B are going to rotate. Trying to see, they're waiting, and the bomb will finally get planted here. It's going to be down to a 2-on-4. You should anticipate them to go ahead and come out on a save here. As I believe that's MBK who actually is wrapping around there through CT spawn. He's going through T spawn, and he was immediately going out there for that manhunt, trying to find this last player now. And actually all 3 of the 4 are moving out there trying to find out where this last player is. As Kerrigan's just hanging out there inside of B. He's able to take down 1. Now they know exactly where he's at. And they're going to collapse on all different types of angles.
I'm not sure if they'll have enough time to find him, though. And nope. Will they? No, Kerrigan gets it there. Finally gets taken
I
out
told
by
you it's a
Scream.
lifetime after
Yeah,
the bomb explodes.
it really is a lifetime.
It's like basically a second round.
Yeah, that's a lot of time there. Kerrigan gets 3 kills. That's actually going to hurt VeryGames coming into this round a little bit, but also very important for VeryGames to get that last gun away from Faculty's hands. And a very dominant round win for VeryGames, looking very strong in the first weapon round.
A bigger point to bring up, though, is that it was Kerrigan who got those 3 kills, and so that's why it allowed him to buy the AWP. And he's been playing extremely well here in the first part of the round. He had a 3K earlier. Let's take a look. He's actually he only had a 2K based off of the stats that we see here.
Yeah, like you said, those 3 kills are what enabled him to buy this AWP. So that could actually play a really big factor.
Let's see, it could have been a difference of whether or not he ends up with the AWP or whether or not he ends up with having head armor. As right now, you got Glaive now watching inside of CT spawn. He exchanges position there with Pimp, who's going to be watching over there towards the catwalk. Default setup coming in here for VeryGames spread throughout the map. You've got 3 players who are over there on top of catwalk. Just kind of taking their time. They do it. Just drop the bomb over there, waiting to get some type of pick. But the time is starting to dwindle down now. They got 35 seconds here. NBK is going to have 2 flashbangs to worry about. There's going to be a crossover, and Cajun B able to take down NBK. Now it's going to be left up to these 4 members here from VeryGames pushing inside the site. Need to be on the lookout for one player that's over there by Goose. Pimp able to try and dink. He does take out one, and they're challenging him. Shoxy finally taking down Glaive there inside to make that Pimp inside of the site, and the bomb will get planted here by Shoxy. Just in time, too, as now it's going to be down to this 2-on-3. Scream and Shoxy are both low on health, as Shoxy staying alive. Doesn't matter how much health you have, as long as you're alive.
Are you
Shoxy
kidding me?
picks up the hat trick.
Are you
and actually
kidding
picks
me?
up the ace. And again, we talked about it earlier. Complexity stated in that first half, 19 kills for Shoxy alone. And Shoxy, he's come out to play. Wow, that was impressive. Low health in the red.
This is me being speechless.
I got that.
Yeah. This is
Take another look.
Best player in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Right there.
We're just going to soak this up for a minute.
Let's look at this shot.
That's
Holy
insane.
shit. This is the best player in the world. Get Right's been overtaken. I'm sorry.
Wow. That was insane.
That's ridiculous.
If you want to nullify your opponent, that's the one way to do it right there. One player picking up all 5 kills.
Just imagine how Faculty feels right now. They're only going to feel worse once they see the highlight from Shoxy's POV.
Yeah, it's a 4-on-2 as well.
That's incredible. And such low health. It's incredible.
In one of the worst possible positions in a 4-on-2. They're both inside of the A, and they could come from any angle.
It's just incredible play.
Yeah,
I mean, there really is no other way around it. Like, that was just...
And then
that was
finally,
one of the craziest
and Kerrigan's
rounds
going to try to answer back. Now it's going to be down to a 3-on-3. He does take down Shoxy, as the bomb is actually down on the other side of the double doors. So Existence going to rotate back around as MBK has it off in hand. Glaive going to challenge while his teammate's going to rotate back around. Pimp's right there, pushes straight through the smoke. He's going to get taken down. That's going to be left up here to Glaive, and he'll get finished off there. But no, Shoxy, that was just a great round to watch.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, we'll just kind of keep talking about it
Go
for
ahead.
a couple of times. Maybe we'll just, play it like 5 more times. Man, I
That screams
really
right there.
think we might need to move the camera over to Shoxy. Just, it's a little adjustment. But yeah, crazy play here at DreamHack Winter in the Steel Series CSGO Championship. And
You wouldn't
VeryGames have
expect anything less.
VeryGames have tied it up at three apiece now. Here on the first half of Dust 2, this is an elimination game in Group C. The loser of this match will be sent packing. They're going to get 2,000 for their troubles. The winner is going to make the quarterfinals and will be guaranteed at least 10 grand.
They'll have to face off against the first seed or the #1 team that comes out of Group D.
And Group D, of course, features
Astana
teams such as
Dragons.
Astana Dragons, SK Gaming, Copenhagen Wolves, and I believe the last team is
Reason
Reason
Gaming.
Gaming. Yeah.
Tosspot actually made a good joke earlier. He said this is the 50th new roster here for Reason Gaming. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
As right now, you've got 2 players going to be heading over here towards Catwalk. Actually have decided to stack 3 over there towards B, and this might actually pan out for them. They've got Rails, who's playing close quarters. They've got Pimp playing there inside of window for a quick rotate.